Okay, so I'm gonna flip this around real quick. Is that cool? All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys are watching this. So we talked about how someone is going to do 7 and 11 for us. So I'm going to do 8 and 15 for you guys on the Friday paper number 27. So this problem number 8 says, which of the following equations have no solution? So how do we find out that something has no solution? Well, let's just do what we know and try to solve these problems. And if we can't solve them, then we can understand that there's no solution. So looking at this first one, problem A, it is 3x equal to negative 9. So how would I solve for x here? I would solve by dividing both sides by 3. So if I divide both sides by 3, my 3's on the left would cancel. I get x is equal to negative 3. So this one has a solution. So that means I can get rid of this one, right? Because it has a solution, so therefore it does not have no solution. I know there's a lot of words right there, but let's keep going. So let's look at this next one. 2x minus 8 is equal to 2 times the quantity x minus 3. So we can't really do anything to the left side, so we're just going to do this. I'm going to make a little separation right here, so no one gets confused by any work. So you have 2x minus 8, and then so what do we do on this part here? Since there's a 2 out in front, we will distribute the 2 to both x and negative 3. So 2 multiplied by x will be 2x, and then 2 times a negative 3 will give me a negative 6. So again, what I did here is I distributed my 2. So I did 2 times x, and then 2 times a negative 3. Excuse me. So now we have to solve for x to see if there is a solution. So I'm going to subtract 2. I'm going to do a little 2 steps in one here. I'm going to subtract 2x here, subtract 2x here, and then I'm also going to move this 8 over here to the right side. So I'm going to add 8 on both sides. Add 8 on both sides. Well, this 2x will cancel, and these 8's will cancel. So I'll be left with 2x minus 2x is equal to actually 0x. So we can just write 0x is equal to negative 6 plus 8 would give us 2. So is there anything that we know 0 times anything equal to 2? No, because 0 times anything will give us 0. So does 0 equal 2? No, it does not. So put a big old nasty red X through that. So we know that this problem has no solution. Oh, one too many lines. No solution, because we got our final answer end up being 0 is equal to 2. So let's look at C. Well, how would I go forward with C right here? I would solve for x by dividing both sides by negative 4. Divide both sides by negative 4, so that'll cancel and get x is equal to negative 12 divided by a negative 4 will give us a positive 3. So this one does have a solution. So that means our answer cannot be C either. So let's check D as well. So D, we have 4x minus 7x plus 10 equals negative 3x. So again, we have to try to get all our x's on the same side. So here, I have like terms of x's. So something I can do is combine those. So 4x minus 7x would give me a negative 3x. Still have plus 10 and then equal to negative 3x. So now I have to get the x is all to one side. So I'm going to do that by adding this 3x over to this side. So if I do that, those x's will cancel, and then I'm left with on the left side, I'm left with 10 is equal to, well, what is negative 3x plus 3x? That is, again, going to be 0x. And we know 0 times any number will give us 0. So again, 10 cannot equal 0. So our final answer is no solution. Right, because we ended up with 10 is equal to 0x. And so 10 is equal to 0, which is never, ever, ever true. So that's why we have no solution. So for our final answers, we get that B and D are both no solution. So hopefully you did all 4 of them and found out that both B and D are no solutions. So now let's go on to number 15 we had on the Friday papers. If y is equal to 2x plus 3 and y is equal to x minus 1, what is the solution to the system of equations? So for these, we just want to graph these equations. So let me draw a little coordinate plane right here. And then I'm going to give both of these guys their own color. So let's do y equals 2x plus 3 first. So whenever we're graphing this, remember we always start with our y-intercepts, or where our y-intercept is. So our y-intercept here is a positive 3, so that means we go up 3, and we can put a point right there. So then our slope, remember, is right here, this 2. Remember, y equals mx plus b. Let me write that out real quick. Y equals mx plus b. Remember that m is your slope. So our slope here is 2. So what does that mean? That is equal to our rise over run. So if we go, our slope is 2 over 1, because remember 2 as a fraction would just be 2 over 1. So we go up 2 and over 1 to the right, because that is the direction of a positive slope. So let's say if we go up into the right one, we would go down into the left one. Or down 2 into the left one. Down 2 to the left one. Down 2 into the left. So you start to see a picture of our line here. So my line drawing abilities on these Chromebooks are not the best. So yikes. Let's try one more time, see if I can get any better. You know, my point is off a little bit right here. You know what? We kind of get the gist. So there we go. So there's our 2x plus 3. So now let's look at at y equals x minus 1. So again, our y-intercept is that number by itself. So we get our y-intercept is negative 1. So now what is our slope here? Our slope here is this understood 1 right here. So that means this is going to be, since it's a positive 1, it's going to go up and then to the right 1. Up and to the right 1. And so if we're going to go down, we're going down to the left 1, down. Okay. Sorry, guys, my graph isn't perfect. Sorry about that. So if we were to graph this, it would look something like that. And then so we're asked the question, what is the solution of the system of equations? So remember, our solution is where the graphs cross. So we were trying to find a point where the graphs cross, and it looks like it's about right here. Oh, wow. About right here. So if I'm counting over, it looks like it's about -4 on my x, and it looks like it's about 5. So let's just stick with 5 because my graph's ugly. So if we say we have -4, 5, say if we were to try that point, we can check this by plugging in these variables into our original equation. So let's say if we had y equals 2x plus 3, we can plug those in, and we would get -5 is equal to 2 times a -4 plus 3. So that would be true. And then so if we check the other one, the other equation, we get y is equal to x minus 1. And that would be equal to -5 is equal to -4 minus 1. And that would also be true. So this ends up showing us that our final answer is our point -4, -5. Because again, we checked it. That's where they A cross. But since my graph is kind of rough, you can check that again by plugging in these numbers into their originals. It's like -4 in for x and -5 in for y. So those are the two problems we're going to be in the video today. I hope those went back and made some sense for you guys. And see you again soon. Pause. Oh. Nope, wrong one.